senior advisor laughs, swirling his glass. Give the old man a moment to weep. The cruelty of their laughter bounces off the walls, totally unaware that the reaper is already on the line. Then it happens. The harsh rhythmic trill of the red line cuts through the laughter like a knife. The room freezes instantly. This is the direct link. Protocol Alpha. Only the sovereign activates this specific line, and only in times of national emergency or war. Star smiles, a cold, satisfied curl of the lips, and holds up a hand to silence his staff. He believes this is the moment of total victory. He reaches out, his hands steady, savoring the weight of history he thinks he is about to write. He lifts the receiver to his ear, expecting the broken, raspy voice of a defeated king ready to surrender his authority. "Your Majesty," Starmer says, his tone dripping with faux sympathy and condescension. "I trust you have made the right decision for the sake of the country." There is a pause on the other end, a silence so heavy, so dense it feels physical. Then a voice cuts through the static, not old, not broken, and definitely not defeated. It is a voice of granite and ice. "The decision has been made, Prime Minister, but not by him." Starmer's smile falters, then vanishes entirely. His eyes widen in genuine shock. He recognizes the baritone immediately. It is Prince William, but the tone is wrong. It lacks the warmth, the politeness, the royal difference. "Your Highness." Starmer stammers, confusion clouding his face as he grips the desk. "I was expecting your father. We have an agreement pending." The reply that comes next is the single most dangerous sentence uttered in modern British history. William does not raise his voice. He simply drops the temperature of the conversation to absolute zero. "My father is done talking to snakes. You are speaking to the Crown now." And the Crown has stopped listening. The silence in the Prime Minister's office is no longer heavy. It is radioactive. Starmer grips the receiver so tightly his knuckles turn the color of bone. For the first time in his political career, the Prime Minister feels the ground beneath him turn into quicksand. He tries to rally, summoning the arrogance that got him into this office. He attempts to use his authority as a weapon, his voice rising in a desperate attempt to dominate the younger royal. "You are treading on dangerous ground," William Starmer hisses, dropping the honorifics entirely. "This is not a debate. The modernization plan was approved by the cabinet. If you obstruct the will of the elected government, you are committing constitutional suicide. I will strip the palace of every penny of funding by morning." On the other end of the line, there is no hesitation, no pause for thought. William's voice remains terrifyingly steady, stripped of all emotion. "You seem to misunderstand the situation, Prime Minister," the prince replies, his words cutting through the threat like a razor through silk. "I am not calling to negotiate terms. I am calling to inform you that the agreement is terminated. I will not obey you, and neither will the king." The declaration hits the room like a physical blow. The aides, who were moments ago celebrating with wine, are now staring at their leader in frozen horror. They can hear the faint distorted sound of William's voice leaking from the receiver, and they know the unthinkable has happened. The puppet strings have been cut. Starmer blinks, sweat beading on his forehead. "You have no choice," he snarls, losing his composure. "We control the narrative. We control the press. If you fight us, we will bury you." William's laugh is short, dry, and devoid of humor. "You controlled the narrative." William corrects him until 5 minutes ago. Then the prince drops the atomic bomb. He begins to read file names, specific classified file names. "I have the Project Eclipse emails. Prime Minister, I have the audio recordings of your private meeting with the Chancellor last Tuesday. I have the drafts of the abdication speech you wrote for my father without his consent." The color drains from Starmer's face so completely he looks like a corpse standing upright. The realization crashes over him. This isn't a bluff. This is an execution. William hasn't just refused to play. He has flipped the board. "How?" Starmer whispers, his voice barely audible. "How did you?" But William does not offer an explanation. He offers a warning. You wanted a modern monarchy, Prime Minister. You are about to see exactly how effective we can be. The line clicks dead. The dial tone hums in the silent room like a flatline on a heart monitor. Starmer drops the receiver onto the desk as if it were burning hot. He knows. Starmer gasps, looking at his terrified staff. He knows. Everything. Shred it. Shred it all. Now panic erupts in number 10. It is instant feral chaos. Strategies are shredded, laptops are slammed shut, and voices rise in screaming matches. They were prepared for a chess match against a tired old king. They were completely unprepared for a knife fight with his son. But while Downing Street descends into anarchy inside Kensington Palace, the atmosphere is surgical. Prince William steps out of the car holding a small encrypted flash drive. He walks past his security details straight to his most trusted private secretary. He does not shout. He does not look back. He simply hands over the drive, the weapon that will bring down a government. Release the first wave, William orders. Not all at once. Let them bleed. At exactly 8 p.m. the digital weapon detonates. It doesn't start with a bang, but with a notification sound that ripples across thousands of smartphones in London simultaneously. The first wave of the leak hits Twitter, Telegram, and the inboxes of every major political journalist in the UK. The subject line of the leaked document is chillingly bureaucratic. Internal Memo 404, neutralizing the sovereign. Within seconds, the internet ignites. Newsrooms across the capital explode into confusion. Anchors who were preparing standard evening reports are suddenly shouting into their earpieces, demanding verification. But the verification is already there. The document bears the Prime Minister's digital signature and the classified stamp of the Cabinet Office. It details in cold administrative language the strategy to frame King Charles as mentally unfit and the calculated plan to isolate him from the public. Social media goes absolutely feral. The narrative the government spent months carefully constructing that the king was the problem evaporates in an instant. The public sees the truth. Their monarch wasn't failing. He was being sabotaged. Outside Buckingham Palace, the atmosphere undergoes a terrifying transformation. The scattered tourists are replaced by locals, then by hundreds, then thousands. But this is not a mob of revolutionaries coming to storm the gates. It is a human shield. They are gathering in a protective vigil. The British sense of fair play has been triggered. They realize their king is under attack by politicians, and the collective mood shifts from indifference to a fierce protective rage. Inside the deep, quiet halls of Buckingham Palace, King Charles sits alone in his private study. He is unaware of the firestorm raging outside. He stares at a portrait of his late mother, grief etched deeply into the lines of his face. He believes the silence from Kensington Palace is a sign of abandonment. He thinks William has made the deal.